New Zealand all the way.
Let's burn through that.
My name's Dax.
And my name's Nick.
Welcome to the Coal Room, our YouTube rugby chat show.
So we had round 6, I think we're on, of Super Rugby just happen, and let's just say New Zealand shining bright.
Yeah, New Zealand conference is definitely the conference to just watch. I mean, just the flow of the games, all of them are high scoring, but in terms of the skill level, the pace of the games, the way they work with their forwards and backs, it's just beautiful rugby to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really that we can just heap loads of praise onto the New Zealand teams and the conference in general. But before we actually begin, congratulations to the Proteas team for beating Australia and taking the series to 2-1, even through a ball tampering scandal.
Ball tampering is playing it too lightly. That is flat out cheating.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as match fixing, and I'm glad rugby doesn't have situations like this.
Yeah, I do agree. But before we run away with that, and we're talking rugby, not cricket, let's start with the Friday games.
Yes, so we'll start off with the Crusaders versus the Bulls. Now, actually, I'm going to stop us here because I know you have a lot to say about one ref in particular. So I'm going to suggest that we rather go through the games and then we go back to the refs.
Sure.
Let's not break the flow with your scathing reviews.
Yeah, let's go for it. So, Crusaders versus the Bulls. We predicted the Crusaders were going to come out and top in this one. Our prediction was right.
Yeah.
The Crusaders playing at home, playing a very New Zealand game, very good with forwards, high skill with the backs. Bulls just couldn't get into the game.
Yeah. For me, it just seemed like the Bulls, they're trying to play this new style of rugby and they're letting their basics slip in trying to adapt to this new game. And that's something you can't have happen, especially against New Zealand opposition. Very good on capitalizing on mistakes and basically running through lines, and that was what the Crusaders did. There was a stage where there was hope for the Bulls, probably around the half-time mark, but started the second half, couple of tries, and basically that's how it ended.
I generally see a lot with this new, especially with the new coaches, the new franchises like the Bulls and the Lions in general, with new coaches, they have let the basics kind of fall away a little bit, where you should be looking to keep control of the ball, not make silly quick passes that can enforce turnover balls. That game sense just not there at the present moment, so you'll probably see a lot of unnecessary passes, trying to keep the flow of the ball going. Some unnecessary lapse in defences, so the defensive line is not there. One talking point that we should look at this week is the adoption of the rush defence from all the South African teams this week, and not paying dividends as much as we would have hoped.
I think that they're trying to adopt that New Zealand defence, which is that rush defence, but when New Zealand has it, is that they come up as a flat line and close down the space. Now, South African teams are tending not to come up as a unit, but rather you're getting one, max 3 guys that are coming up together, which creates a gap in the defensive line, which you just are required to sidestep around the rush player, and you've got a gap. And until we get the props, the hookers, essentially everyone in the team rushing as a unit, as a wall, it's going to keep having a gap.
Or even a staggered rush defence. You always have that one guy a little ahead, one a little bit behind, in case of...
I would argue that still isn't as effective, because you can still step around that player and go in the gap that he's created.
Well, there is some things to look at. I mean, the Bulls, unfortunately, too many soft tries, some easy gaps for the Crusaders to exploit. So 33-14, not a bad reflection of the game for the Bulls, but I mean, there are some positives. I mean, they were 2 really good tries. Andre Pollard had a very good game, a very physical game. But unfortunately, you can't play against a team that's dominating possession.
I mean, it's unfortunate the Bulls came away from their tour with 3 losses from 3 games, but I would argue that they are having a better tour than the next team that we're going to talk about.
So the next game that preceded the Crusaders versus the Bulls, the Rebels versus the Sharks.
Proceeded.
Proceeded?
Precedes before.
Proceeded, sorry. Thank you for the English lesson. So,
Hashtag grammar.
yeah, so not only are we a rugby chat show, we also work on the grammar skills. So, Rebels versus Sharks. Rebels coming off a defeat against the Waratahs.
Yeah, pretty heavy defeat as well.
Yeah, I mean that was the largest margin that the Waratahs had against the Rebels in a regular round robin season. So Rebels hurting in that one, and then the Sharks a lackluster showing the week before against the Brumbies.
What do you mean the week before? You mean the season?
Well, the whole season they've been lackluster. Again, showing their shortcomings. One, defensively, on tack with the forwards, dominated in the scrums.
Yeah.
So the Sharks not doing very well. Rebels winning by a comfortable 46-14. I mean, the Sharks look like they just given up this tour.
Yeah, again, the Rebels keep surprising every weekend. We keep getting surprised by them. They're not the team which used to be the whipping boys of Super Rugby. They're actually top of the log now, 20 points on ahead. Well, not ahead. They've got 20 points in total.
Yeah.
A point ahead of I think it's the Highlanders or the Hurricanes, one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, this is the surprise for me. We did not peg this at the start of the season.
No.
And in fact, it's interesting to see that the team we pegged to be conference leaders, the Brumbies, are actually second from bottom of the Australian conference, so fourth.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the game. Sharks, they're boring.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I think we need to stop talking about these Sharks games because what can we say?
I mean, they've got exciting backs.
They're not using them.
They're not using them at all. I mean, there's no sense of intelligence in terms of creating space for players. I mean, they've got some absolute flyers, but not creating space, not drawing tackles in. The forwards aren't dominating the breakdowns. It is scary knowing that one of the two teams that all the pundits have actually said were supposed to be conference leaders are actually, fourth? I mean, they should have dropped below the Bulls now.
No, I actually think the Bulls are still below. But anyway, we can put up a little thing.
We'll put up a little bit of a log, but I think the Sharks are going backwards.
They
They're
really
not progressing.
are. And what's happened to the dominant scrum that the Sharks used to have? That's gone as well. I think we need to stop talking about this game because we're just getting worked up over
little things that shouldn't be. But 46-14 final result. Rebels an absolute blind over game. They played extremely well. Let's move on to Saturday, which is probably the biggest margin grubbing I've seen this season so far.
Yeah, I mean it's not a record margin for even against the Sunwolves. I think they lost to New Zealand opposition by 80 points or something last season. So even in the fact that the scoreline read 10-61 at the end of the day, Sunwolves versus Chiefs.
Sunwolves have shown their frailties. I mean, coming off that really fantastic loss against the Lions. I mean, no team likes losing, but putting the Lions in real trouble, turning around, and they were absolutely decimated.
Yeah, I think that Lions game took a lot out of them.
Yeah.
And then they had to travel back home. I mean, that is quite a trip. And I think that right now the Sunwolves aren't at a caliber where travel is inconsequential thing to them.
So travel is becoming a bit of a factor for them. I mean, it's a 20-hour flight? Maybe longer?
Maybe even longer. It depends on if they had layovers, stuff like that.
So it's quite hard, especially when you're coming up against a Chiefs side that is really, really good out wide. I mean, they've got dangerous backline players like Damian McKenzie again.
And a younger McKenzie.
Yeah, younger McKenzie making it turn out this week. I mean, Chiefs up close, out wide, they basically took the Sunwolves apart systematically. I mean, it was a good result for them. I mean, good job on the ref there for keeping up with the pace of the game on that one. But Sunwolves, unfortunately, this week taking a bit of a hammering. They're going to have to.
They're going to have to evaluate and get ready for their next game.
Yeah, because the New Zealand teams that are going to tour there, or them going to New Zealand, to the New Zealand teams, they're going to have to pick themselves up and actually build themselves up for those.
Luckily, they have the bye coming up, so they can take time to actually recover one from another
they do need
bruising
to
game,
recover,
and then actually get back to the drawing board.
They will need that, and I mean they got a really, really good coaching squad. I mean the Sunwolves aren't the whipping boys from last week, being very competitive. This one might be just like a little step back for them, but I'm pretty sure they'll come back, regroup, maybe be a little bit stronger after their bye.
We move on to the game of the weekend, really. Undefeated Highlanders versus the Hurricanes. I mean, going into this game, Hurricanes were at home. We picked Hurricanes just purely based on the fact that they were at home. But
wow.
Wow, yeah.
That was a pure New Zealand derby. I mean, in the first half it was very close. I mean, there was really nothing in it.
No, there was nothing. It was like what?
And then it was a few points in it here. There was like I think it was a penalty in terms of points away from it. I mean, it was kind of like test match rugby in the first half. I don't know what the coaches did in the locker room to get the fire burning, but Hurricanes came up blitzing the Highlanders in the second half.
Fantastic tries from both the wings. Really good awareness of where that touchline was.
I mean,
in fact, if we can compare to, let's say, I'm just going to take a moment from the next game with the Stormers versus the Reds. There was a moment where Evie Fulyun, that's a lot of he was in a very similar situation, but he actually caught the ball out. He had no awareness of where the touchline was, and you take a look at the Hurricanes players. They knew exactly where that touchline was and how to manipulate their bodies to
get there.
To actually not go into touch.
I mean, they were literally in the corner. I mean, both times they took out the corner flag. I mean, that doesn't count as out or anything, but great awareness, great strength of character, and in terms of strength to get the ball over the try line. I mean, I was in awe. I mean, this was really the game of the weekend for me. Yeah,
it really was. There's not much we can really say. It was nearly faultless performance from both teams. I mean, there's always the knock-ons, the forward passes. There's always those little things. But the game was really exciting to watch, and it's actually making me enjoy watching New Zealand rugby. I have to say, this season I'm more interested in seeing these New Zealand games. Obviously, I'll always be interested in seeing my team play. But I would rather watch a New Zealand derby than the Sharks right now.
I mean,
and as a South African, I think that says a lot.
It does, and I mean, I've always been aware of the New Zealand games. I never really put much stock into it, but since we started this channel, we've actually put more effort into watching most of the games that we can catch over the weekend, obviously, regardless of work and other prior arrangements. But watching the New Zealand conferences is really an eye-opener, and if you don't really want to watch the New Zealand derbies, watch one, just at least one. I mean, it is really, really impressive to watch.
Then we move to Cape Town, Stormers versus the Reds. Now, for me, the Reds weren't thinking in this game. If you look at all of the seminal wins that they've had this season, whether it's versus the Bulls
dominating position,
who else did they beat another big team? But anyway, they dominated possession. They didn't let the other team play the ball. But this weekend, they kept kicking the ball away.
Different mindset. I think it's because, and I'm not taking anything away in terms of all the other Springbok, all the other South African teams are playing. The Stormers playing more that similar New Zealand style of rugby at the present moment. I mean, they played really, really well against the Blues last week. I think the Reds...
But even though you can say the Stormers are playing a more expansive game of rugby, then why would the Reds give them possession? This is just, they're not thinking, and that's what cost them the game.
It did, and the fact that, the Stormers weren't even playing that well either. I mean, a lot of handling errors did come in. A few defensive lapses. I mean, they did let the Reds in quite comfortably for two very, very easy tries. I mean, the last try was a 80-meter sprint down all the way uncontested. But still, very, very well done by the Stormers to actually hold out and grind out the win.
I mean, they did escape jail a little bit at the end there. I mean, the Reds really came back firing in the last 3-4 minutes.
Actually taking it to 3-4 minutes past the hooter as well.
So, and on the 5-meter line as well.
Yeah, just their discipline on that in that 5 meter red zone, very very good. I mean, it's going to bode well and give confidence to the Stormers in terms of their defence. Raymond Rule again bounced off so many tackles.
Although it's to his credit, he made 4 tackles.
Yes, but his technique is still terrible. Still going in too high. I want to see. Look, Raymond Rule did very very well on attack this past week. I mean, he did set up one of the tries, and he had a really really good try himself.
Listen, we're not questioning his attacking prowess,
but his defensiveness. Yes, he got 4 tackles, but you'll probably see in terms of tackles missed, is on equal terms.
He's not going to live down that New Zealand South Africa game last year where he missed 9 tackles.
No, and I mean he got flummoxed by a sidestep in that 80-meter free run try as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bit of a worry for Raymond Rule, but 25-19, a good showing. The only South African team to win this weekend.
Yeah, I would say the Stormers can take away some very good positives from this game. But I think they do need to realise that the teams these days are playing till that hooter goes, and even past the hooter going, which I found that this weekend they slapped off around the 78th minute.
I also think they're getting a bit tired. They haven't had a bye yet as well. Yeah. I mean, they went from week 1 going into it to coming back. They're going away again this weekend for another massive derby. So I think they're getting tired, and it is starting to show this. I mean, they're only getting a bye in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah. So it's a rough road ahead for them. But we'll move to Argentina quickly. The catfights, Jaguares versus the Lions. Wow.
We were hoping that the Lions would win this one, and the Jaguares proved us wrong. Even though we did say if the Jaguares, based on past history, kept their discipline and played a really the game that beat the Waratahs, they did just that. They beat the Lions 49-35 in what I would probably say is the Lions' worst performance since the Blues match.
I felt that the Lions went into this game a little overconfident, thinking they had it in the bag. They were bringing their first full-strength team to Argentina, and given that their B teams essentially only just lost in the last couple of seasons, I think they walked into this game thinking easy win, good confidence booster after the loss to the Blues, and the narrow win over the Sunwolves.
Yeah.
And I think the Argentinians are just like, no.
Yeah, I mean, their discipline is much improved after the first 3 weeks. With good discipline comes better play. You can play with all 15 players, and you're not defending with 14, you're defending with 15. Their back 3 has been outstanding.
Yeah.
The Jaguars' back 3 has been outstanding. Also, their flanker and 8th man, I mean, they caused
Luguizamon.
Yes, gave the Lions, defensive lines, such trouble. I mean, the guys didn't know what to do. And then the Lions with their rush defense exposing massive gaps. I mean, the last try that the Jaguares scored off their inside centre was through a 3 meter gap. I mean, it was by far the worst defensive Lions team ever. I mean, there was no defensive line. Let's put it that way.
So we all know that Dax feels very strongly about this game.
Well,
and
I was hoping that out of this whole weekend, yes, we had the Sharks and the Bulls lose. Lions and Stormers, come on, let's get like two losses, 2 wins, 50-50 split. This now puts a lot of worry into what's going to happen with the Springboks, because you can't have, of the all 4 franchises, you're going to have to look at all these frailties. And the biggest one at the present moment is the defensive line.
But what I am enjoying about this season, at any rate, is that we're still seeing some New Zealand dominance.
Yeah.
But we're having a lot more of a middle table scrap out for those wild card finals places, which we didn't have last season.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, but still, before we get ahead of ourselves and get too passionate about this, let's talk about the referees.
Rate the refs.
Rate the refs.
Okay, start with Frederico Anselmi,
the Crusaders Bulls referee.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, 7 out of 10, nothing really to talk about much there.
Yeah.
Good game.
Average game, neither here nor there. The average scrum resets, handling errors.
Not much to
penalties,
talk
not
about.
much.
7 out of 10.
The Rebels versus Sharks, Shuhei Kubo.
Again, a bad week for him. In fact, commentators
Ridiculed him. They actually ridiculed him.
And also the sports scribes, at least here in South Africa, are questioning the Japanese referee training now based on his 2 performances. So it really is a shocker from him 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
he's clearly not up to standard.
He ended the game in the 79th minute.
Yeah, and he missed a horrible high tackle as well.
Not a good showing from Shuhei Kubo. Sunwolves versus Chiefs. Will Houston officiated that match. High paced. Yeah, there are going to be handling errors. There's going to be the scrum resets and all that.
When essentially there's nearly a point every minute. It's a fast game. So 7 out of 10. Handled it well. Yeah. New Zealand Hurricanes Highlanders. We had Mike Fraser as the ref.
Very good game. Well officiated. 8 out of 10 we gave him.
Yeah, maybe we bumped him up a little bit because the game impressed us so much. But you know what? If you can manage a game that's that impressive, you're impressive as well. So 8 out of 10 for him. I will leave you to talk about this one.
Now, when player safeties are concerned, I'm going to give Marius van der Westhuizen a 4 out of 10, and I'm going to tell you why.
I know why. Tell him why.
In the first half, we had one extremely dangerous tackle where he said to the TMO, anything in it? The TMO said, no, not much in it. They let play carry on. Then the actual tackle came up on the big screen, which showed a prop who's about 120 kilograms, hit with a shoulder a 90 kilogram winger in the neck and head area, and said, no, it's after play's resumed, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm sorry. That is the biggest load of bull I've ever heard. When player safety is concerned, that player should have been sent off. That should have been a red card. Yes, he's been cited and he's probably going to be suspended for the next games, but the referees need to have that consistency. Week 1, even after play continued after that incident, in the first 10 minutes, the red skipper was sent off with a red card for the exact same thing. Now, where's the consistency in the refereeing? And this is something Sunwolves is going to have to look at going forward for the rest of the tournament. There has to be some consistency to that.
Yep.
After that, there were some other high tackles which they led with the shoulder that should have actually been looked at as well, especially on Willemse, and I think there was another one off the ball as well. I mean, it's unacceptable from any refereeing. I mean, if this was any of the other games as well, like the Highlanders Hurricanes game, I would have rated the ref the exact same. Player safety is a concern, and this Marius van der Westhuizen already had a bit of controversy with these international away game officiating the England-Ireland game, where he was actually taken off. So
to be fair, that wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault.
World Rugby approved him to train with England. He wasn't actually the referee, he was the assistant referee, but okay.
Yeah, there is that bit of controversy, but still. Marius van der Westhuizen, along with Shuhei Kubo, needs to go back to ref school and actually have their... they need to sort this out, to be quite honest. Which brings us to Jamie Nut-Brown, who officiated the Jaguares Lions game. Overall, I think he had a good game. He controlled everything very well. There's nothing untowardly. There was a few scrum resets that I picked up throughout the game, but still overall managed the game well. I gave him 8 out of 10.
Yeah, pretty decent game from him. So that's our ref rating for this week. So in our next episode, stay tuned. We're going to do a preliminary Springbok 15 based on Super Rugby teams only, so we're ignoring the cheaters and any overseas based players.
Basically what we're wanting to do is just pick some players that have come through that we think are definite picks, or even potential picks. I mean, this is not our official 15. I think we'll probably wait till about the end of May to do that, just before the test window.
So please like the video, comment any thoughts that you may have, maybe suggestions for future videos, segments we could do, and subscribe to the channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon at the bottom corner over here so that you can be notified when we upload our next video. Until next week, or to our next video, thank you very much and goodbye.
Cheers.